I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started on the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you get all educated on the show. Then you can click on that merchandise tab, and that's exactly where you're going to find our classic logo t-shirt. Well, not this shirt. This shirt's way too old for our online store. Or perhaps our Pride logo t-shirt, our special event t-shirts, or any other gimmicks you've come to know and love from the Renegades of Puck. We've got socks, wall art, throw pillows. We've got over 80 gimmicks in total in our online store. We've put a logo on just about everything, or it's easier to say we've sold out so that you can buy in. We sure would appreciate if you'd pick up some Renegades of Puck merchandise. You can help us out on social media. It's of critical importance to this operation. Please, we are on a myriad of different platforms. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also find us on YouTube for video format. You can find us in a numerous variety of platforms on audio platforms when it comes to Stitcher, when it comes to Spotify, Google, Amazon. We are on all of these different platforms. That's where you can find the podcast. And you can also find us streaming behind the scenes live on Twitch. We sure would appreciate if you would help us out on any or all of those platforms. It doesn't take you but a second. It doesn't cost you a single thing, but it sure does go a long way to helping the Renegades of Puck. You can become a partner of the show or a sponsor by going to Venmo, search Renegades of Puck, or scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. Thanks to generous Renegades just like you, we've been able to upgrade significantly just about everything we're doing with this operation over the last 100 shows. Go back, look at show number 600, and look how far we have come. New camera, new lights, new microphones, new processors, new computer, new everything here in the bunker. It's gone a tremendously long way to helping us get closer to the vision that we have for the Renegades of Puck, and we'll continue building out this operation as long as you continue helping us out. Please, even $1 goes a long way to helping out the Renegades of Puck, so thank you. Stick taps, love, and respect. Now, I know it's time for me to deliver the goods. It's time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage. It is operation number 700 for the Renegades of Puck. That's right, it is show number 700 for the Renegades of Puck. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves fourth place in the Central Division after 39 games played. They have a record of 19, 14, and 6. 44 points has them 3 points behind the third place Minnesota Wild. And the third place Minnesota Wild are the automatic qualifying spot for a playoff position. Not too bad at the 39-game mark, considering where this team was after the first month of the season. The Nashville Predators are 9 points behind second-place Winnipeg, and they are 10 points behind first-place Dallas. Taking a look below the Nashville Predators, in fifth place and sixth place, Colorado and St. Louis, respectively, each with 43 points. The St. Louis Blues have played 41 games, though. That is 3 more than Colorado, 2 more than Nashville. The Arizona Coyotes are in seventh place in the Central Division. They have 31 points overall, 13 points back of Nashville, and Chicago bringing up the basement of the Central Division, only 24 points on the season and 20 full points behind the Nashville Predators. Now, back to the Nashville Predators on the road, where they are currently in the middle of a 5-game road streak. 10-8-3 on the season is their road record. They've scored 111 goals. They've given up 115. The goal differential of -4 is as close as it has been since ultimately the first few games of the season. So for the Nashville Predators, they are on game 4 of 5 on this road trip. They have won 4 games in a row, going back to when they were still playing at Bridgestone Arena, now taking care of Carolina, taking care of Washington, and most recently taking care of the Ottawa Senators. Full game recap coming up on that in a matter of moments. Now, time to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then Thursday we'll be closing out the 5-game road trip in Montreal against the Montreal Canadiens. Saturday at home against Buffalo, on the 16th at home versus Calgary at Bridgestone Arena, the 17th versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the 19th back on the road to take on the St. Louis Blues. It's the first of 2 meetings between the Nashville Predators and Toronto Maple Leafs this season. The next meeting will take place at Bridgestone Arena, and it won't take place until March the 26th. Now, taking a look at the Leafs and their record, they're off to a very, very good first half of the season. 25-9-7 overall, 57 points. That's best for second in the Atlantic Division. 11-3-4 is their home record, a plus 33 goal differential. Now, let's take a look at their most recent stretch of hockey. Let's go back 5 games. Go back to last year, or at least New Year's Eve. 6-2 victory at Colorado, following that up after the the New Year's break on the 3rd of January with a 6-5 shootout loss versus the St. Louis Blues. On the 5th of January, a 5-1 loss versus Seattle. On the 7th of January, a 4-1 win versus Detroit. And most recently on the 8th, a 6-2 victory at Philadelphia. Murray got the victory in net, 34 out of 36. Now, taking a look at the matchup and taking a look at the NHL rankings between these two teams, some highly impressive statistical metrics for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it starts with goals for 3.44 per game, 7th best in the NHL. And while the Nashville Predators offense has been surging as of late in their last 10 games, still that number is lagging behind considerably, only 2.79 goals per game. That is 26th in the NHL. But again, that offense has been surging in this last stretch of games. Goals against, this may surprise you, but the Toronto Maple Leafs are third best in the NHL, only giving up 2.61 per game. The Nashville Predators giving up 2.92 per game is 14th best in the NHL. In shots for, Toronto leads in this metric, 17th best in the league, generating 31.7 shots on net per game, while the Nashville Predators are generating 30.7 shots on net per game. That is good for 20th in the NHL. When it comes to shots against, highly impressive metric here by the Toronto Maple Leafs, 5th best overall in the league, only giving up 28.5 shots against per game, while the Nashville Predators are giving up 34.2 shots per game. That is 29th in the NHL, and yes, when you give up 60-plus shots, that's going to skew your shots against category for quite some time. Special teams, it's no surprise to see the Maple Leafs are 8th best in the power play in the NHL, converting at 25%, 33 out of 132 times as the raw data on that. The power play for the Nashville Predators is 28th in the NHL, converting 17.3% of the times, 23 out of 133. Now, on the penalty kill, the Nashville Predators are ahead in this statistical metric, 13th best in the NHL, and as of late, their penalty kill has been doing a very good job out there. 80.2% kill rate, have given up 27 power play goals against on the season. The Leafs have given up the same number of power play goals against on the season, but their kill rate is 78.6%. That puts them at 16th overall in the NHL. When it comes to the Maple Leafs team on the side of the ledger and the individual statistics, it's almost mind-blowing to see how many players are having such good and consistent seasons at this point compared to the other side of the ledger, the visiting Nashville Predators. So let's start with the home team, Toronto Maple Leafs. In this matchup, Marner leads the team in scoring, 15 goals, 34 assists. At 34 number, leads the team in assists, 49 overall points. Second on the team in scoring, Matthews, 20 goals and 27 assists for 47 points. Nylander at 22 goals, that leads the team in total goals, plus 23 assists equals 45 points. Tavares at 19 and 21 for 40, so you have 4 players at 40 points or more, and then you go down to Bunting at 13 and 16 for 29 points. And I wanted to go one more line down just to make this notation. Calle Jarnkrok, 9 goals and 11 assists on the season for 20 points with the Toronto Maple Leafs. In net, 2 very solid and good options. Mentioned that Murray got the last start and the last win against the Philadelphia Flyers. His record on the season now 10-4-2 and 9.16 save percentage, 2.57 goals against average. Samsonov, 12-3-1 and 9.16 save percentage as well, 2.29 goals against average. 2 good options. Either one should be successful against this Nashville Predators team. Looking at the Nashville Predators individual statistics side, Forsberg leads the team in scoring, 16 goals, 20 assists for 36 points. That's 16 goals. Leads the Nashville Predators. The captain, Roman Josi, leads with assists, 22. Add 10 goals to that now for 32 points on the season. Matt Duchene has 11 goals and 19 assists for 30 points. Mikhail Granlund, 4 and 21 for 25, and Nino Niederreiter, 12 and 10 for 22. And I went one line again with the Nashville Predators to number 6, and Johansson has 9 and 11 for 20 points, the same exact stat line as Calle Jarnkrok has for the Toronto Maple Leafs. UC Saros in net continues to improve. His record continues to improve his numbers. 15, 10, and 5 on the season, 921 save percentage, 2.67 goals against average. Again, that 921 save percentage, he had a below 9 save percentage in the month of November. It's highly impressive to see where he is at right now, and he's continuing trending in an incredibly good direction with his first shutout of the season against the Ottawa Senators. Again, we'll recap that game in its complete detail coming up here in just a matter of seconds. That gets you all set for the Nashville Predators' 4th game out of 5 games on this road trip into Toronto, into the heart of something that is going to be a very difficult game to play against. Nashville Predators are going to have a tough time in Toronto, but they had to go to Carolina, had to go to Washington. Those are 2 tough buildings to play in, and Ottawa has been a very difficult team to play against as of late. The Nashville Predators on this road trip seem to be doing something very, very right. They've managed to claim 6 out of 6 points, 3-0 on the road trip, 4-game winning streak overall. Rebirth Sports full game recap coming up next.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
We go all the way back to January the 9th of the year 2023 when the Nashville Predators were in Ottawa to take on the Senators. Second of two regular season meetings between these two teams. Ottawa securing the victory in Nashville. Nashville Predators looking to give a receipt and repay the favor to Ottawa. John Hines deploys his lines in the following way. Forsberg, Parson, and Sissons make up your first line. Jankowski, Johansson, and Duchesne your second line. The new checking and shutdown line of Niederreiter, Glass, and Granlund are your third line. Trenton, Novak, and Janot make up your fourth line. Defensive pairings, McDonough and Yossi, Ekholm and Carey, Luzon and Fabro. UC Saros gets the start in net. 1:33 into the first period. Talbot comes up with a save on Sissons. It's the first shot on goal of the game. 2:08 of the first period. Saros comes up with a save on Watson. That's his first touch of the game. 3:11 of the first period. Saros comes up with a save on Tkachuk. 4:19. The first Saros comes up with a save on Kelly all alone at the top of the crease. An incredible save early in the game by UC Saros. 7:27 of the first period. Giroux off the box. 2 minutes for holding the stick. Talbot comes up with a save on Duchesne. That would be all for the Nashville Predators power play. At 9:50 of the first period, Talbot comes up with a save on Janot. 10:37 Luzon off to the box. 2 minutes for tripping. UC Saros have to come up with a big save on Lucchini here in this situation. 14:29 of the first period. The captain, Roman Josi, puts the Nashville Predators on the board with his 10th goal of the season. 1-0 in favor of the Nashville Predators. It was Nino Niederreiter feathering a perfect pass to the late crashing Roman Josi for the easy chip-in at the back post. At 15:01, just 32 seconds later, Nashville Predators are going up 2-0. It looks like Tanner Janot gets his own rebound and takes it behind the net and banks it off of Talbot, but we would go on to see in the super slow-mo replay that he would actually bank it in off of the skate of Luzon, so the goal would be taken away from Janot. He would get the primary assist, but it would be given to Luzon a little bit later. Luzon's second goal of the season gives Nashville Predators a 2-0 lead. Tanner Janot gets the primary assist. 2-0 in favor of the Nashville Predators, and that's where we hit 16:31 of the first period, and it appears that Tkachuk has put the Ottawa Senators on the board. Ekholm and Saros get absolutely confused and befuddled and turn the puck over, and Tkachuk just takes it and jams with some opportunism, puts it in the net, but it has to be challenged, and it turns out to be offsides. The goal is taken off the board. The Nashville Predators 2-0 lead is restored. 18:53 of the first period. Saros comes up with a save on Shabbat through very heavy traffic. I have no idea how UC Saros was able to track that puck. At the 20-minute mark, or the end of the first period, Parson and Canuck go off to the penalty box, 2 minutes each, 4-on-4, so obviously they'll serve that. In the second period, we go to the intermission. Ottawa outshooting Nashville 14-10, but the Predators are winning the game 2-0. We're 1:21 into the second period on the clean sheet, and Matt Duchesne looks to have a goal right here. It's Mikhail Granlund to Duchesne on the 2-on-1. It's challenged for offsides. This goal taken off the board, overturned. It was in fact ruled to be offside, so the Nashville Predators 2-0 lead is for the second time in this game restored. Each team now having a goal taken away for a challenge offsides. 3:10 into the second period. Shabbat's off to the box, 2 minutes for holding. Talbot has to come up with a save on Johansson, plus Forsberg's jam times 2. That would lead to a scrum as Forsberg was just going to work there in the hard areas. 5:32 of the second period. Janot versus Kostelic, 5 minutes each. This was a strong tilt, even showed some sportsmanship in there as Janot allowed Kostelic to get back up, get back in the fight, and they continued engaging. And I have a feeling they would have continued engaging for quite some time if the officials had not gotten in. Those two are strong hockey players, and they were getting after each other in this fight. 9:48 of the second period. UC Saros comes with a save on Tkachuk. 9:56. Trenton's off the box. 2 minutes for tripping. Saros comes up with a save on Batherson. Saros then comes up with a save on DeBrincat, reading the play extremely well right there and moving. He looked like before the play even got over to DeBrincat. 17:06 of the second period. Batherson's off the box. 2 minutes for tripping on Josi. Talbot stones Niederreiter in the blue paint right there within inches of the goal line. Ottawa outshoots Nashville after 2 periods, 23-22, but the Nashville Predators maintain a 2-0 lead. Now going into the third period on the clean sheet, 2:17 in. Saros comes with a save on DeBrincat, but at 2:33, it's Luzon off to the box for the second time in this game. 2 minutes for interference. Overall, a very good PK by the Nashville Predators at 4:53. Brassard's off the box, 2 minutes for cross-checking. As soon as their power play expired, they go on the penalty kill. It's good zone time for the Nashville Predators, but everything is kept to the outside. And Talbot was strong, but he wasn't called upon nearly often enough during this power play. Nashville Predators would capitalize on some 5-on-5 hockey, though, at 7:30 of the third period. Forsberg's 16th goal of the season was a 2-on-1, and Forsberg chooses to shoot, and he snipes in this opportunity, converting for a 16th goal of the season. The Predators now have a 3-0 lead in Ottawa. 7:52, UC Saros comes with a huge save on Batherson. 9:58, Luzon off the box for the third time in this game, and that's going to be 2 minutes for holding. UC Saros comes up with a huge save on Chabot. An outstanding PK by the Nashville Predators. And get this, immediately afterwards at 12:36, there's another penalty, and it is on Luzon. 2 minutes for roughing, his fourth minor penalty of the game. Third of the third period, his fourth minor penalty of the game. I mean, wow. 2 minutes for, this one's for roughing right here. Hang on, I want to go back and I want to see what all of them were for suddenly. Let's see, there's tripping, and then there's interference, and then there's holding, and there's roughing. So at least 4 different penalties against, 4 different minor penalties in this game, 3 in the third period. So we're 12:36 in. Luzon's in the box again, but you already know that. Saros comes with a huge save on Kachuk. Saros comes with a save on DeBrincat. Saros comes with a save on Stutzel, and then Saros would come up with more saves and numerous saves before the end of this power play. The best pressure of the entire game for the Ottawa Senators came during this 2 minutes, but the Nashville Predators bend, do not break, and we flip over to the back of the sheet to get to the completion of the third period. We go all the way to 18:39 of the third period. Saros is coming up with a big save on Stutzel at 18:57. Saros comes with a big save on Sanderson at 19:28. Chabot, out of frustration, takes a 2-minute slashing penalty, leaving Talbot out there to make one more save on Johansson here at the end of the game. The Nashville Predators secure the victory on the road, 3-0. Ottawa does outshoot Nashville 38-36. It did not seem to matter to UC Saros, who has become quite accustomed to a heavy workload out there. So for the Nashville Predators, they fell to the Ottawa Senators on home ice. This time, they go in and they secure the victory, a 3-0 victory. UC Saros' first shutout of the season. And for the Nashville Predators, they did what they had to do. It was the hinge game, the third game out of 5 on the road trip. And the Nashville Predators, after winning 2 big games back-to-back over the weekend, and very emotional game and record-breaking game in Carolina, and then against their former coach in Washington, the way they had to come back in that game, the Nashville Predators really get into Ottawa and accomplish something very, very important tonight. Getting those 2 points was very important. It bumps them back up in the standings above St. Louis and Colorado, and it's going to be an incredibly intense race here in the Central Division from the middle of the season all the way on until April and until the playoffs. This division is going to be highly competitive. So far, looks like only 2 teams are checking out, and it looks like only 1 team is really prepared to hold their ground, and that's the Dallas Stars. From Winnipeg to St. Louis, though, 2 through 6, it's going to be a jumble, and it's going to be an incredible race all season long. So for the Nashville Predators, did exactly what they need to do. They've picked up 6 points on this road trip out of 6 possible points. We'll have full analysis, the Renegades of Puck, Sean C. Smith, Brian Baston, the box score, all that stuff. That's coming up next. Strong Style Fitness is a great partner here of the Renegades of Puck, and we love our partners. Strong Style Fitness can be found online, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Instagram is their preferred method of communication when it comes to social media. StrongStyleFit.com is where you can find the website. 150 workouts by a certified personal trainer, completely free to each and every one of the Renegades of Puck. Just go to YouTube and search Strong Style Fit, and you'll be able to find those, whether it's your first step off the couch, your first workout, or you've been at it for years. Tracy has a workout that is designed and dedicated to each and every one of you out there. She just wants to get you moving and get you motivated and keep you healthy. She has provided all of these workouts on her YouTube channel completely for free. So Renegades of Puck, in a world that has become increasingly more expensive every day, take advantage of an opportunity to have the Renegades of Puck personal trainer at Strong Style Fitness. Great partner here of the show. UC Saros was 38 out of 38 in this game, his first shutout of the season. And I've got to tell you, in the last 4 starts, 4-0, only 7 goals against, 114 out of 121. And again, his first shutout of the season. For all of the difficulties and all of the problems UC Saros was having back in October and the early parts of November, in December, he completely turned his season around. Now in January is proving why he was a Vezina finalist already in his career. It is just simply incredible what he is doing out there these last couple of starts. Nashville Predators are certainly in good shape in net. Let's talk about Luzon. Good, bad, ugly, all in the same game. He drives the net hard. He gets there just in time to get his skate in the way to put Jeannot's wraparound attempt into the net. But he also takes 4 minor penalties in this game, leaving the team shorthanded for a total of 8 minutes because the Preds were able to kill off all of those shorthanded opportunities. But that's just absolutely too much, especially the back-to-back penalties in the third period. 3 penalties in the third period when your team was leading 5 hits. That also led the team 14-25. That's some high-event hockey. Again, I like Luzon because he plays very physical. He plays a good, strong defensive game, and he plays a little bit on the edge. But tonight was a little bit over the edge. Thankfully and luckily for him, it was good mixed with bad and mixed with ugly. But you cannot have a game where you take 4 minor penalties and 3 in the third period. You are going to get your team burned 9 out of 10 times. This just happened. Lucky break for Luzon and for the Nashville Predators and for that PK unit. I'm going to talk about that PK unit coming up. But Luzon, you got to give him credit, though. He did make the right play there on the goal, and he ends up also making some right plays throughout the rest of the game, leading the team in hits, being very physical out there. The Captain Romagnosi gets the game winner, and this is 10th goal of the season, 7 shots on goal. And again, Romagnosi, just like UC Saros, started the season off incredibly slow, and now Romagnosi, 22 assists on the season, 10 goals, 32 total points. Highly impressive, significant. He's not going to have 90 points this season, but the total points is starting to climb at a rapid pace, and he is definitely going to be up there. So the captain goes on the road into the capital of Canada and secures the victory for the Nashville Predators. Philip Forsberg, the only player on the Nashville Predators with 2 points in this game, 1 goal, 1 assist. He goes in on the 2-on-1, decides to snipe, and he has easily one of the best shots, probably the best shot in Nashville Predators franchise history, without a doubt, and one of the best shots, I think, right now in the game when it comes to accuracy, when it comes to heaviness, when it comes to pace, when it comes to release, and when it comes to the amount of ways he can release that shot. Philip Forsberg, great to see him continuing scoring as of late. Now 16 goals on the season. That number, again, creeping up, just like some of these other players, starting to really turn the season around at just the right point in time. And for Philip Forsberg, the first 30 games of the season has typically been somewhat slow for him offensively. So now to be 39 games in the season, 16 goals, 20 assists, 36 points. I can remember a couple of seasons where he was 30 games into the season, only had 3 goals. So he's definitely far ahead of some of those seasons, just not quite where he had been in these last season, which was a record breaker. Novak and Parsonen continue to contribute, both of those players, with an assist in this game. And I love the way Tommy Novak is just confident and Parson is just confident, and they use their bodies and they use their puck possession ability to go into high danger, high traffic areas, and then they use their vision to set plays up. Tommy Novak had another really great setup in this game outside of where he picks up an assist, and Parsonen continues to impress. Chris Mason said it on the last broadcast, I believe it was, said that Parsonen's next step in his evolution and development is the confidence to start shooting the puck more. I cannot wait till he starts doing that, because right now he's doing a lot of other things very, very good out there. The youth continuing to contribute to this Nashville Predators recent run of success. We got to talk about that PK unit. 5 for 5 in this game, shorthanded for 10 total minutes out of 60 minutes in this game. Some of the players that you absolutely have to highlight from the forward grouping: Sissons, 5:30 shorthanded time on ice. Jankowski, 4:20 in shorthanded time on ice. And on the defensive side of things, Matthias Ekholm, 4:33 of shorthanded time on ice skated, and Ryan McDonough, 5:43 of shorthanded time on ice. Stick taps to that group. 10 minutes shorthanded overall in this game by the Nashville Predators, and their PK unit bailed them out, especially Luzon, who was single-handedly responsible for 8 of the 10 minutes the team was shorthanded in this game. 3-0 on the road trip, 6 out of 6 points. It doesn't get any better than that. You can't ask for any better than that. In the Eastern Conference, the Nashville Predators are finding a way to collect points right now, and they're doing it on the road. And now their road record is starting to look a lot more impressive. 10-8-3 and 9-6-3 on home ice, 19-14-6 overall. This is the best position the Nashville Predators record has been in all season long. 5 games over 500 and in 4th place, competing right now with the upper teams in the division. The Nashville Predators have gotten all they can out of this road trip so far. So in the next game up in Toronto and then one more in Montreal, going into Toronto is going to be incredibly difficult. They're a very, very tough team on home ice. 14-3-4. The Nashville Predators need to go in there and just let it hang out. Go in there loose and just play. No matter what, you're coming home with more than 50% of the points on this road trip. You've already secured 6 out of 6, 4 more possibly available. If you find a way to get the split or get a point out of Toronto and then get the win in Montreal, you would actually manage to have accrued 9 out of 10 points, matching that incredible 5-game homestand that the Nashville Predators had that gave them so much momentum a little bit earlier in the season when things really started to turn around. So for the Nashville Predators, just go into Toronto and just play some good loose hockey, have a little bit of fun. After all, it's a dream to play in Toronto, and you'll be asked about that a number of times between now and when you actually get to take the ice. Now, you've heard enough from me. I've given you my opinions, I've given you my analysis, and I'll come back and share a little bit more with you a little bit later on. But first, I want to hear from Sean C. Smith. Sean C. Smith has now been with the Renegades of Puck for about 250 shows. He's got the intel that you need to know, and I have no better representation out there on the front lines than Sean C. Smith on Twitter at SCSNSH. Find him at A to Z Sports. Watch him on a myriad of podcasts. You can listen to him all over the place, and you can see him right now. He is the one and only Sean C. Smith.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegades, it's Sean Smith, and we're going to talk about tonight's win against the Ottawa Senators. Now, things here in the studio, in the office here, getting a little bit back to normal, getting a little bit back on track, and the Predators are getting a little bit back on track. And that's what we want to talk about is the Predators now have a 4-game win streak, and that's nothing to laugh about. It's nothing to scoff at. They're doing what they need to do to get the job done on the ice. Saros is getting some goal support. As you can see, the offense numbers have gone up dramatically over the last few games. Combine that with Saros and Lankinen putting on great performances in the net, and you're left with 4 games in a row. Now here's the beautiful thing about it. Going into this winning streak, before the Predators started down this path of 4 wins in a row, I was writing articles, I was saying things about how the Predators were scoring more, but, realistically, UC Saros was the one that was keeping them in these games, and that unless they started doing more on the ice, things weren't going to go so well. Now, we talked about how the Predators had only been beating bad teams, and they've put on a couple of performances recently that show that they're able to hang with the big dogs. Now, that's a good thing if you want to see the Predators win. And certainly as a fan, you want to see them win. A lot of people are cheering for their team to go ahead and tank at a chance at rebuilding and having a better draft pick, and I understand where that perspective comes from. However, if you're a fan of the team, surely you want to see them win. Well, right now, you're getting to see UC Saros play some incredible minutes, some incredible games, making some incredible saves. And that record-setting performance the other night certainly shows you 2 things. One, Saros is at the top of his game. Now, if you kind of overlook the beginning of the season and maybe some of the results that didn't yield wins for him, although they were great performances, could he be back in Vezina contention? I feel like right now he's playing at that level. Now, the bad thing about allowing that many shots on goal and even saving that many shots on goal was that the Predators allowed that many shots on goal. And so that's telling you that on some level, when they come up against a fast team that shoots a lot, they're going to have a hard time suppressing those shots. And when they suppress those shots, it comes down to the goaltender, and that night it was Saros, to do the job for them. And he performed up to standard. He did exactly what he needed to do, and the Predators put the goals on the board to make sure that he got the win. Look at this game tonight. 3-0 win, could have been 4-1 because of 2 disallowed goals, 1 for each team. But Saros stood strong. There were a couple of hairy situations. He got the Preds out of it, and they had the goals to support him. Now, moving forward, they're going to have to keep playing in a way that suppresses those shots, keeps people from getting in front of Saros and giving him a fair chance on the net. He's not going to have a 64 save performance every night when you come up against a hot team. At the same time, the Predators are going to have to find some more scoring. Yes, 3 goals was nice tonight. One of them, a little bit bloopy. Well, I'm not really sure that one went off of Lazon's stick or his body. I still feel like Jeannot should be getting credit for that goal, but It remains to be seen whether or not that will happen. But you're starting to see a little bit of scoring support from the depth, whether that was Jeannot or Lauzon. Those guys are farther down on the pairings and in the order of lines. Therefore, it's nice to see them get on the board, but you're still seeing support coming from your usual suspects, Philip Forsberg, Roman Josi. They're not having career seasons this year. They're going to have some other guys on that team step up, especially down the lines, and of course the guys who are sitting at the top of the salary schedule as well. These guys need to score. If those guys can start scoring and Saros can continue putting on the performances that he's been putting on, and the defense can step it up and stop so many shots from getting to Saros or to head them off before they make it that close, the team has a good chance to make a good run. Now, I don't mean a Stanley Cup run. I mean a run where they're going to have some solid wins against good teams. Because if we look back at the beginning of the season, what they did not have were wins against good teams. They had a lot of wins against bad teams. They called it out on the broadcast that people were saying it, but it's hard to argue with the fact that that was true going into the last few games, that they were able to pull off big wins against good teams. Now, that doesn't mean that they're totally out of the woods yet. They've still got big games against good teams coming up, and they're going to have their goaltender performing at peak level, and they're going to have to get guys to start scoring as well. Again, it's hard to look at a 4-game win streak and say, well, they're going to have to do better. But the cold, hard reality is that unless Saros stays playing at this level and you continue getting those goals, the team's going to face trouble. That's true of any team, I suppose. If the goaltender is not able to stop all the shots coming his way and his teammates aren't scoring goals to help support him, then I guess every team's in trouble. But the reality is we've seen what this team has done historically. I'm more than happy to let them rest on their laurels of this 4-game win streak, and hopefully they can keep it going. But just keep in mind that this is the same team that put together a long string of losses and a lot of ugly losses to a lot of good teams, middle-of-the-road teams, and a few bad teams as well. Charlie, this seems like show 700, and it seems like a time to celebrate. So I want to say congratulations to you on your dedication to this, an incredible run of 700 episodes. And I want to talk about we're going back, you and I, probably to the mid-400s. Been an incredible run. Love doing the show. Love doing the show with you. Love doing the show for all the Renegades out there. I cherish the time we spent together, recorded here on the air, and of course the times we've gotten to hang out in person, all the different events we've been to, all the fun hockey games we've been able to enjoy together. That's all I got for tonight, Charlie. I'm going to send it back over to you.
Stripe Digital Solutions is another great partner of the Renegades of Puck, and I sure do appreciate everything Stripe Digital Solutions does for us here in the trenches. Check out their work, stripedigitalsolutions.com, or online, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You see the crest that is on the jersey right here. You see the logo on the wall behind me. The website, renegadesofpuck.com. Our social media and brand building plan, all of that is managed by and through Stripe Digital Solutions. We could not succeed on any level in the current world the way it functions without a strong digital partner, and Stripe Digital Solutions is the strongest digital partner. I urge and encourage each and every one of you to reach out to Brandy and start the conversation today. I think that my website is fantastic. My logos, my graphics, I think everything is wonderful, and that is because I have visions and ideas, and then they are whittled down by Stripe Digital Solutions into something that actually is coherent and makes sense on the screen. They do incredible work, and I encourage each and every one of you, check out Stripe Digital Solutions. Let's take a quick run down the box score and give you some numbers, then we'll throw it over to the analytics desk for some real statistics. Philip Forsberg with a goal in this game, only goal from the forward grouping, the defensive side. And remember, something I've commented on quite a bit as of late, early in the season, the defense, a historic place of offense and power by the Nashville Predators, was simply not contributing. Now, Josi, Lauzon, both with a goal in this game, so 2 of the 3 goals for the Nashville Predators scored on the defensive side of things. Assists. Philip Forsberg has an assist, meaning he's the only player in the game with 2 points. Jeannot has an assist. Also, Niederreiter, Novak, and Parsonen from the forward grouping with assists. And Ryan McDonough picks up an assist on the defensive side of things. When it comes to shot on goal, Philip Forsberg led the forwards forwards with 4, and it was the captain Roman Josi with 7 shots on goal from the blue line on a night when the Nashville Predators did not generate as many shots as they could have against Ottawa. To see Roman Josi with 7, that is impressive. Blocked shots. Alex Carey had 4 blocked shots in this game. That led the Nashville Predators on a negative lead in a stat category. 4 minor penalties, 8 penalty minutes for Luzon. Just not good enough. But also led the team with 5 hits. Other than that, not another Nashville Predator with more than 2 hits in this game. So definitely playing physical out there. Time on ice. When it comes to the forwards, Mikhail Granlund, 1940 in time on ice. When it comes to the team overall total, Matthias Ekholm ends up leading in this game. 21:53 time on ice skated. And I've already mentioned the shorthanded time on ice, but I want to mention it again because it was such a critical component to the victory in this game. Colton Sissons, 5:30 in time on ice, shorthanded, and Mark Jankowski, 4:21 shorthanded, Ekholm 4:33, and McDonough 5:43 shorthanded time on ice. The team in total 10 minutes shorthanded, killed off all 10 minutes of that. UC Saros 38 out of 38 in this game for his first shutout of the season. His numbers continue trending in an incredible upward direction. 921 save percentage now on the season, 15 victories overall. Let's go over to the Renegade Analytics desk and let's hear from Brian Bassi. He's got the charts you need to see, the numbers you need to know, and Brian's also been with the show for about 250 episodes now, and I'm so thankful to have Brian as the organizer of the Renegade Analytics desk. You can find him on Twitter at Brian Bassi. You can watch him right now.
The Nashville Predators continued to stay hot tonight as they extended their winning streak to 4 with a 3-0 shutout victory over the Ottawa Senators in a game that felt much closer than the score might indicate. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that UC Saros earned his first shutout of the season, and that was the key to this game, but there was also another player who had an impact on both ends of the ice and continued his hot streak that led the charge for the Predators, and that's the topic of tonight's One Big Stat. Filip Forsberg. What else can you say about this guy that hasn't already been said? Even before he slammed the door shut on the Senators with his third period goal, Forsberg was absolutely dominant all game long. So of course we must start with the stat line, because it is one big stat. Tonight he had a goal and an assist on 8 shot attempts. At all situations, Forsberg had 1.2 expected goals, which led all players tonight. And with him on the ice, the Predators had a 2-0 goal differential. They had 74% of the shots on goal, and an incredible 88% expected goal share. So why is that last point so special? Not only did he lead the team in shot quality allowed, Ottawa only managed just 4 unblocked shots with Forsberg on the ice for just a 0.12 expected goal total. And all of that isn't even mentioning him trying yet another between the legs shot on Cam Talbot tonight. But how good has Forsberg been recently? Well, it may not be February yet on the calendar, but it does sure feel like it has come early. Since Christmas, Forsberg has played in 7 games. In those games, his 7 goals in that span is second in the NHL, and his 11 points are tied for the league lead. Even better, especially after the penalty-filled night we had tonight, Forsberg has drawn 3 penalties in that time and only taken 1. He's doing his job, he's doing it well, and he's doing it right. Filip Forsberg is playing on his brand new contract, and even though the goals didn't come early this season, his play without the puck made him maybe the best skater on the team all season long. And now that he's scoring, I wouldn't be worried about getting your money's worth if I was David Poile. In fact, Phil has made $49 million in his career, and according to Evolving Hockey, his play has been worth $66 million, meaning that the Swede is providing $17 million in surplus value, and I wouldn't expect that to change anytime soon. And that's tonight's One Big Stat. Charlie?
I'm Crazy Charlie Saunier, captain of the Renegades of Puck. I'm also tired of the cold, tired of the dark, and tired of being landlocked. I'm also willing to bet that I'm not the only one who could use some sun, fun, and time in paradise with friends. That's exactly why I called our great friend Pete Weber. He told me, call Ships and Trips Travel, and now we're all going to Mexico. That's right, Renegades of Puck, July 15th to the 20th of 2023. Dreams Vallarta Resort in Puerto Vallarta is the destination to hang with Pete Weber in paradise. To join Pete and the Renegades of Puck in Puerto Vallarta, go to www.shipsandtripstravel.com. That's shipsandtripstravel.com, and just click on the ROP on vacation tab. Don't stay landlocked. Join the Renegades of Puck in paradise, July 15th to the 20th, 2023 in Puerto Vallarta. Pete Weber, the Renegades of Puck, and you. It's time to ditch those skates for flip-flops and fun in the sun. Episode number 700. 700 times I've taken to the mic or I've taken to the bunker, and I have led the Renegades of Puck through hockey trench warfare. It all began as an idea so many years ago when the mainstream media was frankly lacking here in the Middle Tennessee area, and a small radio station had an idea and they wanted me to take over that operation and spearhead it. So immediately I jumped in the trenches and I took over as the captain of Predneck Nation Radio on WNSR, wearing the original show t-shirt right here. That's where Against All Better Judgment comes from. That's how we got our deal initially. It was, in fact, Against All Better Judgment. Some memories I just want to share, and I'm going to go through by hundreds of episodes right here because there have been so many. I'm not going to be able to get to everything, but I wanted to share a couple of thoughts. Episodes 0 through 100. The show took place on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., and sometimes we were bumped for other events, and sometimes we couldn't get to the studio because there happened to be marathons going through the neighborhood, and there was just no way to get there. It was me and me alone. I was producing, I was hosting, I was writing, and I frequently utilized my friends and guests throughout the market like Jim Diamond and Teresa Walker to come on and also talk Nashville Predators hockey with me. It was an interesting start. We had a lot of different attempts at segments, and finally we started getting things going in the right direction. That's when we went to shows 100 to 200. We started adding weekday home games, Tuesdays and Thursdays almost exclusively. Schaefer started joining me here on the show, and we started doing live shows at Rippy's for the first time, and you remember some of the adventures we had out there in downtown Nashville, and getting punched in the face during the Vancouver Canucks playoff series, and a whole other series of wild events that happened at those live shows at Rippy's and at a couple of other establishments, the Swing and Door Saloon and some other places. But that was the first time, and I had a partner on the show, and that was Jonathan Schaefer, and he would stay with me for quite some time. We'd go to episodes 200 through 300. That's when Mosh would join the show. The show would start getting its format that you're starting to know and expect today. Expansion to covering road games would start not just weekday, but weekend. We would start putting in as many shows as we could, probably getting up to around 50 to 60 shows per season at that point. We went 300 to 400 episodes in that time frame and that range. That's when Dan Bradley joined the show. That's when things truly became next level. That's when we started really getting noticed, and we started really getting ourselves in trouble. As a matter of fact, we really significantly started gaining momentum, and we were grinding out shows, and we started moving towards the concept of covering every single show, but we couldn't do that on the night time frame that we had. So we had to come up with a new plan, and we had to shift our focus. And that's when, from episode 400 to 500, we moved the show to 5 a.m. in the morning, and we took over every single show. We became a pregame show every single game day for the entire year, and we would put in 100 shows per season in 2017 and then in 2018. That moves us all the way from 500 to 600 already, and that's when the Renegades of Puck broke out. Featured 2 times a day. We were on at 5 a.m., we were on at 5 p.m. on a radio station, and frankly, the radio station could no longer contain the Renegades of Puck. With the front lines and the trenches growing in every direction and more Renegades jumping in the trenches every day, it was time for the Renegades to make the big move. It was time for the Renegades of Puck to go independent. We did that between episodes 500 and 600. Leaving radio after 10 and a half years of having the show on the air, it was not easy, but it was what the Renegades of Puck needed to do to take the next step in our evolution. The next step in our evolution. Episode 600 to 700, well, that is what you see right in front of you. We've made a lot of mistakes along the way. We built this thing with our own hands from the ground up. We installed all the technology. We engineered ourselves. We learned how to video edit. We learned how to do all of this on our own without a support system and without having a corporate master above us. We do this out of love. We do this for passion. Now, we have reached episode 700, and I am just getting started. I've got Sean C. Smith in the trenches. I've got Brian Basson in the trenches. They have 250 episodes of experience now and are taking the next step each and every day. We have gone far beyond the Middle Tennessee and Nashville bubble. Over 1 million downloads, replays, and interactions in the year 2022, and we are already off to an incredible start here in the year 2023. thanks to our partnership with the Full Press NHL Coverage Network. Full Press Predators is gaining momentum all over the world. It's not just Nashville anymore. The Renegades of Puck have moved beyond the bubble. We are now becoming an entity that goes anywhere it wants, anytime it wants, and covers whatever it wants. Thanks to your incredible support over 700 episodes and 11 plus years, we have been able to gain a foothold in every market that we want to be a part of. And thanks to your support, we will continue growing. We will continue taking road trips. We will continue booking special events. We will continue having parties, cookouts. We will lead over the next 100 shows. What does 700 to 800 looks like? It looks like dominance from the Renegades of Puck. Our hockey club will be on the ice. Our show will be everywhere, and you will not be able to go anyplace without seeing, hearing, or experiencing the Renegades of Puck. I am just getting started. Sean, Brian, each and every one of the Renegades of Puck, I love you guys. I could not have done it without you. And working with each and every one of you has been tremendous. And for each and every one of you who's ever taken a second to watch, to listen, to interact, to send a tweet, to make a Facebook post, whatever it is that you've ever done for either Predneck Nation or Renegades of Puck, I sure do love you. I sure do appreciate you. It means the world to me. I have built this operation out of my own vision in a world full of nothing but negativity and problems. We are here to be that silver lining. We're here to be that positivity. We're here to bring the essence of no half stepping into your life on episode to episode, and we sure do appreciate you taking the time and checking us out. We can continue growing this thing. We can continue making it as big as possible, and we can rival the biggest of the shows out there. Please continue supporting us. I have the vision, I have the drive, I have the enthusiasm, I have the passion, and the essence of no half stepping is flowing through my veins right now. For each and every one of the Renegades of Puck. See you in episode 701. Stick taps. Love.